one of the questions I get a lot is, what is normalized power?
For normalized power. Some people exclusively look at it. Some people don't even think about it. Like, what do we need to know when we're talking normalized power?
Yeah, so basically what normalized power is trying to represent is it's trying to represent the actual metabolic demands of intermittent on-off exercise.
Yeah, so actually, if you go back to that, sprint session and the heart rate continuing to climb, and then like the inaccuracy, I guess, of heart rate in terms of referencing the demands of like the output, but then the inability of the power output to show the demands on the muscle. That's what normalized power is trying to do. So in this sense, like it's trying to say, okay, how hard was the session if we just looked at power?
So if we thought about this exact power trace, what normalized power would do is it would make the really, really big power spikes extra, extra big. So it would take them to the fourth power. But that also what it would do is it would take the really small ones and also take them to the fourth power too.
Yeah, and so the fourth power is like it's timesing it by itself, by itself, by itself, by itself.
Yeah, that's right.
Which makes a huge number.
And then you take a rolling average, and then you take the fourth root, so you make them all small again once they're averaged, and then you have this normalized power. So it's a way to kind of even out the spikes, is what it does. And it's really good because it does a pretty good job at showing the actual demands on the muscle, but it's not perfect. And I have a blog post that we'll supply you with, and we show how normalized power isn't the best at representing the actual demands on a mountain bike climb when you're going really hard. And so we look at power, we look at heart rate, we look at normalized power, and compare two different climbs, and they're actually so different from each other. So it's still not perfect.
And the rolling average it takes, when it multiplies by the fourth power, is a 30-second rolling average. And before we showed interval session where it was 10 seconds on, 50 seconds off. And 10 seconds bleeds into 50 seconds quite a lot when you have a 30-second average by 20 seconds. So if you go down to almost stop pedaling and you're at 0 watts, 2 watts, 100, 50 watts, but before you were at sort of 1,000, that 1,000 watts gets very washed out when you also include 20 seconds of 50 to 100 watts. So when we're looking at sprints, it's probably going to, the normalized is going to be very low, and you kind of want to just look at the sprints individually to see what the peaks were. Because, for that, as Matt reiterates in his article, that you will include, it's just one of the sort of, just another thing where you need to know what you're looking at and how power and heart rate can really complement each other. And on to the next one, Matt. On to the next one. Calories. Everyone wants to burn those calories.
Yeah, I get asked this one a lot. So like my heart rate monitor said I burned 2,000 calories on this ride. Is that right? Like an hour easy? I don't think so. Right? That's probably wrong. Right? But so power is much better. So power is actually measuring the mechanical work done by our muscles. And we know a certain amount of work takes a certain amount of oxygen, burns a certain amount of calories. So actually, if we look at our power meter and we look at the work that we did, we can with a lot of certainty say that that's how many calories that we burned.
Yeah, that's right. When you're producing a certain amount of power and you weigh a certain amount, like the calculations become quite accurate. Whereas if you're whatever weight, whatever age, at whatever percent of your threshold, or even if they don't even incorporate your threshold, they're just saying, okay, 150 beats equals this many. Again, you could just be sitting on the start line, super nervous at 110 beats per minute, and you're going to be burning like 100 calories every 10 minutes, almost 1,000 an hour or something, which we know is just, it's not what's happening.
But if during a time trial, that might be what's happening.
Yeah, super. Like it can be, but I would just say don't go